From the heart of Las Vegas, this is The Middle Ground, your destination for balanced conversations, real issues, and common sense solutions. Hosted by Tom Letizia, The Middle Ground starts now.
Good morning, Las Vegas, and welcome back to the Middle Ground Radio Show. We're here with you this morning until 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, and we're going to be talking to a wonderful guest. We're going to bring the tone down a little bit. We were heavy into politics on Thursday and Friday last week, got into some very, very heated issues and very sensitive issues, and we're talking about immigration and about the big, beautiful bill, and we had some political guests on, and we got to lower the tone a little bit, and we're going to talk about something that is important to all of us, and it's our veterans. And we have a very special guest with us in the studio today, along with Marla Letizia. She's going to be here, and also Russell Letizia. And we're going to talk today to the founding director and the president of Honor Flights Southern Nevada. Great organization, and they've been around since 1913. I'm sorry, 1913. That would be the First World War. No, they've been here since 2013, and they've led countless missions honoring our World War II and Korean and Vietnam veterans. So it's a privilege to talk with our founding director, Belinda Morse, today, and she's here with us. Thank you for joining us, Belinda.
Thank you for having me.
You know, I always say it, our veterans get overlooked so often, and you know, they fight for us, they go to these terrible wars, and they come back, and then they're not treated properly. So your organization has shined a light on the veterans, and it gives them an opportunity to be celebrated, and that's something that we don't see a lot of. So let's just kick it off right now. We've got Russell Letizia. He's our executive producer. He's here in the studio, and Russell, why don't you kick it off with a question for Belinda?
Good morning, Belinda, and welcome to the Middle Ground. What inspired you to start Honor Flights of Southern Nevada in 2013?
I became involved in Honor Flight when my children's great-grandfather went on an Honor Flight out of San Diego, and that's how I first heard about the Honor Flight program. And so I wanted to be involved because it meant so much to Dwayne. His experience was so great. So I did some research, and I found out that there was an Honor Flight program out of Reno, Honor Flight Nevada, that had started in 2012. So I reached out to them to say, hey, how can I help? And they said, well, it'd be great if there was one in Southern Nevada. And so we had a couple of meetings, and then next thing you know, they helped us with our first flight in May of 2013. And we got our board of directors together and founded our charter, and here we are.
Okay, so you first experienced Honor Flights in Northern Nevada, and how did that shape your vision for what we are experiencing today here in Southern Nevada?
So each Honor Flight, there are 130 Honor Flights nationwide, and so each one is run a little bit different. So when we worked with Honor Flight Nevada, we went over, how did they do it? Mm-hmm. And so they're basically, I would say their underlying mission, and everyone's underlying mission in all the Honor Flights, is make sure you put the veteran first. Uh-huh. And so that's kind of, I would say, the underlying philosophy is make sure whatever we do, that it's about the veterans and not us. Yeah,
yeah. And there are too many things that take place today where the veterans get overlooked. So we can appreciate that. Marla, do you have a question for Belinda?
I do, actually. So I understand that there was an Honor Flight program in San Diego and then also in Northern Nevada. But what is the genesis of this program? Where did it start? How did it get started? What and how many cities across this country actually have chapters?
I think she said 130, didn't you?
Right. There are 130 charters, active charters right now. Uh-huh. So how it started is absolutely a wonderful story. There was a gentleman by the name of Earl Morse, and he was a physician's assistant in.
Any relation, by the way?
No, we just call each other cousin, but we're not actually related. So he was working with World War II veterans in his job, and he asked them when the World War II memorial was completed in 2005 if they were going to go back. And many of them had various reasons why they couldn't go back. Well, Earl happened to also be a pilot, a private pilot. And so he started by flying them back to the World War II memorial so that they could see
in Washington.
In Washington, D.C.
Right.
And so when he was doing that, he ran into another gentleman, Jeff Miller, from North Carolina, who was busing people up to the World War II memorial. And so they met. And then they just started working together. At one point, Earl had 18 private pilots flying two veterans at a time back. So it was as many as one. So he had them all going at one time, and then the buses were going from North Carolina. And so that's how they merged together and became Honor Flight. That was in 2005. So we're celebrating 20 years of Honor Flight this year.
And so has it always been private airplanes that take these veterans, or do you now have commercial carriers that have jumped on?
So when they started, it was the little planes, 2 people at a time. And now there are some organizations like Honor Flight San Diego, which I mentioned before, they charter a whole plane.
I see.
And we fly Southwest Airlines. Normally we fly Southwest Airlines because we do a smaller group. We take 35 veterans at a time. So a group of, altogether there are 75 people that go. So our group is smaller. And all of the Honor Flights, like I said, do it a little bit different. Some charter, some go for 1 day, some go for 3 days. Alaska, for example, they go for 5 days. Their trip is 5 days because it takes them so long to get there. So it really just, it is on the need of what's the need and what the group, the Honor Flight Hub does.
It's not just that you're raising money to fly them. In most cases, you also, I didn't even think about it, but it's obvious. It's common sense that you're putting them up for the night. You have food to take care of. You've got a whole thing happening over there.
Yeah.
Right. So we do a 3-day trip. So we leave on a Friday and we come back on Sunday. And we stay in Baltimore right now because it's a straight flight, so we don't have to worry about a connector. If you can imagine, especially early on, we're taking 35 veterans. Half of them are in wheelchairs. So you don't want to have to take them on and off the plane if you're having, multiple flights. So we just do one flight straight through. So we're paying for the flight, we're paying for the hotel, food for 2-3 days. We bought wheelchairs so that we can provide a wheelchair for everybody, even if they don't use one at home. Maybe they use a cane or a walker. So we have our own. We have 25 of our own wheelchairs that we've purchased over time, and oxygen concentrators. If they need an oxygen concentrator in the hotel, for example, we provide that as well.
How has the organization grown since its founding back in 2013?
Well, there were 5 of us back in 2013.
And now you say there are 70?
No, I mean, of the organizations nationwide. It's in 2005, I would say it probably started with 3 or 4, and then each year it'd be a little bit more. There is an Honor Flight Network, which is I want to guess you call it a parent company, the parent, and we charter through them. So all of the Honor Flights have to go through Honor Flight National to have their charter. And I would say that some of the number of Honor Flights nationwide changes. Some of them go dormant for a little while. They don't have veterans to fly, or their board might not be functioning the way it really needs to function. And so there's kind of an up and down on the number, but consistently it's around 128 to 130 nationwide. Idaho does not have one. Montana does not have one. But almost every other state has at least one.
So how do they find you? Do you reach out to veterans, or do they come to you?
So they come to us now. When we started, we had to do the outreach.
Right.
And what we did was there were 5 people on our team when you had asked that other question. We would go to VFWs, to American Legions. We also worked with an organization here in town and went and spoke to assisted living places, retirement communities, so that we could spread the word about what we did.
Right. So what's the most meaningful feedback you've received from participating veterans?
Wow.
I mean, I know you hear, it must be an emotional moment when they go back and they relive the memories of World War II or the Vietnam War or the Korean War. I know it's very emotional, and I know you've had a large variety of emotional memories, but is there anything that stands out that you could share with us?
I would say it was probably our second flight, maybe even our third, I don't remember, but we do what we call a flight reunion when we get back, and the veteran, he stood up at the flight reunion and he was like, besides my children and my wife, this was the most important thing and special thing in my life.
Yeah.
And to have someone who's, 90 years old and had a wide variety of experiences in his life to tell you what that impact of the trip had on him, being that important in his life.
Yeah.
It really brings home to you that, wow, this is bigger than we thought.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we learned early on is, this is not just about them going on a trip. It's much bigger than we ever realized.
Sure. And I'll be honest with you, I was not familiar with the organization until our friend Tony Benici made the introduction with you and I. And I'm sure a lot of our listeners are not familiar with your organization, and that's why you're here today, because we want to make people familiar and know about some of the wonderful things that happen in our community. We talk about the negative stuff. Everybody likes to dwell on the negative and, this is bad, that's bad. And, that seems to be what we hear most of every day. But something like this is so inspirational, and it's chilling when we stop and think about these veterans, these World II veterans, which are now, close to 100 years old, aren't they, most of them?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
You say the youngest are in their mid-90s, right?
I think the youngest is probably going to be about 97.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and our Vietnam vets are in their 70s now.
Yes.
And Korean vets are probably now closer to the 90s.
80s, yeah.
So
90s.
Where do we go from here? And now, Marla and I were talking to you about this before the show. We haven't honored our veterans from Afghanistan or from the Gulf War or any of the newer wars, and you mentioned about your charter does not allow for that yet. Can you explain about that, please? So
in our charter with Honor Flight National, we are to focus on World War II, Korean, and Vietnam. Our current wait list of veterans going doesn't go past Vietnam yet. Well, we do have a couple, but we have over 400 people on that wait list.
400?
Yeah, from Southern Nevada.
On the World War II Korean.
And Vietnam.
Wait list.
That's our
400.
wait list.
400. So,
yes.
What?
So the reason that there's 2 reasons that we haven't started working on the younger veterans yet. One is we still have a lot of work to do.
Sure.
And 2, Honor Flight Nationals tells us that they want us to make sure we're doing a good enough effort to reach those Vietnam veterans before we move on.
Right.
So we have to do a good job at outreach and making sure we're doing everything we can to reach as many of those Vietnam veterans as we can.
So that being said, sorry, Tom,
Go ahead.
that being said, you said that you take approximately 35 veterans per flight. How many times a year are you going? Two. So that's 70. So you've basically got 4 to 5 years left, right, of trying to get those 400, provided new people don't move into the community. Right. And then you said about 75 of you actually go each time. So who is making up those other 40 people?
Okay. So the way we run our program, and again, as I want to stress, each honor flight might run it a little different. We do one-on-one. So every veteran who goes will have a guardian. And that person is there to either push a wheelchair or just hang out with that veteran for a weekend. So it's one-on-one. So that gives us the 70. And then we take 2 honor flight staff, we take 2 paramedics, and we take a professional photographer. So that makes up the 75 people.
Right. And so how many people are on your board?
On our board, there are 11.
11. And so I'm assuming that your board members have opportunities to fly and be a guardian for those veterans as well.
Yes. So on our board, I think all but 2 have gone as guardians. On our operations team, who do the everyday work, we have an operations team of about 10. And again, I would say maybe 1 or 2 haven't gone as guardians.
And is the operations team a paid staff or volunteer
Nobody
staff?
is paid.
No, it's 100% volunteer.
Yeah.
That's correct, right?
Correct.
So how do you raise funds? Do you go out into the community? And maybe we can do that for you a little bit here today with our audience, but do you go out and solicit? How do people find you?
We do. Well, we have a website. And we have social media.
Right.
A great
What's
person.
What's the website and social media?
honorflightsouthernNevada.org. We have a wonderful volunteer who she just does a phenomenal job on our social media and our website. And so we just do speaking engagements. You know, if we speak at the Rotary, we speak at VFWs, we speak at community veteran clubs, some of the senior living communities, 55 and older communities, they will have a veteran club. And so we'll go and speak with them, not necessarily to get donations, but it works when that happens. That's great.
Sure. Yeah.
But also to get those veterans, that's when I was speaking about the outreach, to get those Vietnam veterans to sign up to go on the flights. So our board, as most boards are, their mission is to help bring in the money, right? And so they focus on that aspect of it. And then the operation team focuses on implementation. We do have a fundraising coordinator, and if someone reaches out and wants to make a donation or have an event.
And what is the prime way that you are able to raise funds? Like, what is your major fundraiser?
Okay, we have 1 major fundraiser a year and 2 smaller ones. Our major fundraiser is in September. It is a wine tasting, and this was something the board came up with. Tony Bonici.
Tony loves wine.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was his idea, and he presented it to the board. And so we're selling tickets for that. Our mission for that, or our goal for that wine tasting, is for it to pay for 1 flight.
Just one for the entire flight for
Yes.
all of the veterans that will attend on that flight.
And
Right.
is Southwest Airlines giving you discounts for this?
Southwest Airline donates tickets to Honor Flight National, and then we petition Honor Flight National to get some of those tickets, and each year we get up to 30 tickets.
Okay.
So depending on when they're released, like this year we were lucky, we used 15 for our spring flight, and we'll use 15 for our fall flight. But when it comes to making the rest, and buying, we have to buy almost 50 tickets. And
But you do get a group discount, right? There is a Southwest Airlines group discount?
there's a group reservation process.
Oh.
I would not say it's a discount.
Oh, okay.
Well, you end up paying $630 a ticket. I don't.
So what's planned? What do you have planned next? Is there a trip coming up?
Yes, there's a trip October 17th, 18th, and 19th. And this past weekend, we started our interviewing for that flight. I know it seems far away, but things we have to do is we need to purchase those tickets within 60 days prior to get as low fare as we possibly can. So that's kind of the cutoff date. And we work backwards from that. Okay, then we need to start interviewing 3 weeks prior. We interview each veteran in person if they live in Southern Nevada or live close to us. But, like, for example, the ones who live in Mesquite, or Kingman, then we'll do a phone interview with one of our experienced team members.
Is there any lessons that you've learned from nonprofit since you started doing this? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of things that you would like to make better. I mean, nonprofits are tough because you're out there asking for money. During tough economic times, you had to go through COVID, which was a difficult time for everyone. You had to go through the Great Recession, I would imagine. You started in 2013, so you came right out of the recession, but people were just kind of getting back on their feet. What have you learned from this?
Well, I think for me what was amazing was, if you think back to the show Field of Dreams.
Yeah, I love that. One of my favorite movies.
It will come.
Yeah.
And because I think our mission is so good that people just give.
Yeah.
So I think the first couple of years we did struggle, but as people learned more and more about it, the money it's just coming in.
Yeah.
I mean, we have enough in the bank to do 2 flights a year, and we work hard enough during the year to get that for the next year. So.
Yeah.
And could you increase that to 3 times a year if you wanted? Or does your charter hold you at...
No, you can do as many flights. There's no restriction on that. One of the reasons we do 2 flights is, as you mentioned, we're all volunteers.
Right.
90% of our team work.
Right.
And so if you're trying to get them to do 20 hours a week,
right,
in addition to their job and volunteer, you will burn them out.
Correct.
So that's one of the reasons we can only do 2. We've done 3 before, and it's a lot of work.
Let me ask you a question. You mentioned earlier that there are 7 places that you go to while you're there. So the obvious, of course, is the Vietnam Memorial, the World War II Memorial. I don't even know if there's a Korean Memorial, is there?
Yes.
And so that's 3 of the 7. And I'm assuming everybody sees everything. And, you don't just go to the one place that you're attached to. So what are the other 4 places that you take people to see?
So I'll walk you through the day. We start at the World War II Memorial, and we'll have an opening ceremony at the World War II Memorial and place a wreath at the Nevada Pillar. Next, we'll go to the Korean War Memorial, and we'll place a wreath at the Korean Memorial. Then we'll walk over to the Vietnam Memorial, and we'll do the same thing. After that, we typically go to Iwo Jima, which is the Marine Memorial. Then we'll go to the Air Force Memorial. We will go to Arlington Cemetery and place a wreath at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, if I do my job right. That takes about 8 months to secure in advance.
Wow.
Just to be able to take a group to Arlington.
Right, to lay a wreath at the tomb.
Wreath. Wow.
Arlington does not allow buses in except for Honor Flight.
Oh.
So they have a special agreement with Honor Flight to allow us to take our buses in. They have a cordoned off place where all of our veterans can go and watch the changing of the guard. And then after changing of the guard is the wreath laying ceremony that we do.
And that's 7, ending with
we
Arlington.
also go to, if we have time, we will try to go in and see the 9/11 Memorial at the Pentagon.
Oh.
That's always iffy. And then we end our trip at the National Archives, and we actually escort the veterans up to see the Constitution and the Bill of Rights.
Oh.
It's also right across the street from the Navy Memorial, so we go to the Navy Memorial as well. And if the veterans want to see the Navy Memorial, they go there. If they want to go and see the National Archives, they go there.
Or both? Can they make it to both?
They can't make it to both. The timing, it's an either or.
Oh, okay.
Well, I want to call out the information on your website again for our veterans that are listening or those that wish to make a donation. So would you repeat that again?
Yes, honorflightsouthernnevada.org.
honorflightsouthernnevada.org.
Yes.
Okay, that's if you want to make a donation or if you are a veteran and you want to learn more. Okay, so let's do
You can apply online, too. So the veterans, there's an application that you can either download from the website or you can fill out the application directly on the website.
And can I just ask a follow-up to that?
Yeah,
I wanted
sure.
to ask this just a minute ago. When you say you interview them to see if they are able to go on the flight or if they're worthy of going on the flight, I guess would also be another word for that. What is that interview like? What takes place?
So we go over the application and make sure there's been no changes since they applied, since we have people who have applied from 2000, I think currently on our list from 2016. And we make sure they're physically able in the sense that they can take care of themselves in a hotel room. They can be in a wheelchair. That is not a problem. They can be on oxygen. It's not a problem. It's just, can you be responsible for yourself in a hotel room?
Because if you have a volunteer that goes with them, they don't stay in the same room.
No.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
The
and what if
veteran
a
stays
family?
with another veteran.
Can they take a family member as an escort as opposed to one of your volunteers?
Right. They can. It just can't be a spouse or a significant other.
Gotcha.
It has to be someone else.
Perfect. Okay, so let's do a quick lightning round. This is where we ask you a question, and you give us a real quick, short answer.
One word answer.
One word is always tough.
But
so
I always give
sometimes
three.
We have
Sometimes we have
hyphenated words, and sometimes we have more. But your favorite flight memory?
Walter.
My
Walter, 93-year-old World War vet, on his knees in front of the Iwo Jima Memorial.
Oh my goodness!
In uniform.
Oh my goodness! The biggest challenge?
Realizing you're running a business.
Yeah, you got it. You got to bring in the cash in order to provide the service. Dream partner sponsor?
Currently, America First Credit Union.
Oh, wow. That's nice to know.
How nice to know about them. Favorite D.C. memorial?
The Korean War Memorial.
Best advice for new volunteers?
You'll love the veterans.
Yeah, we all do. One word that describes honor flights of Southern Nevada?
Compassion.
Yeah, and we need more of that in this world, don't we? Belinda Morse, thank you for giving us a look behind the scenes. Your passion for honoring veterans has created life-changing experiences and deeply moved countless families. We appreciate everything you and Honor Flight Southern Nevada do to ensure our nation's heroes receive the tribute they deserve. Thank you for being here with us today and shedding a little light on this wonderful cause that you are involved in, you've created, and I know that it means a lot to our listeners. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back after this here on The Middle Ground. We're going to talk to Marla Letizia about our judges. We're going to continue that judge series. She's going to tell us her thoughts, and we'll be right back here after this message here on 670 AM KMZQ.
Here I am stuck in